What's up, guys? This is Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible, that is business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. I thought I would have a little discussion with you guys just to share with you some things that I've been experiencing that I have been experiencing for years. I am a licensed esthetician, if you did not know, and a beauty business owner and operator of over 14 years now. I have been an entrepreneur since 2006. I am a skincare line creator. I was formerly a legal assistant for 12 years, dealing with a whole lot in my life. Not that I'm the only one, of course, but I have been dealing with imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome, I actually did a video talking about that several months ago. And to be quite honest with you, it wasn't the best. Not to say that the content wasn't good, but the sound was horrific. And I just didn't really have the strength or energy to redo it because I was like, oh my God, I spent all that time doing that and the sound has got like a whistling, buzzing noise throughout. And anyway, I just didn't feel like doing it again. But imposter syndrome has really been something that I've been dealing with for many years, and for a lot of years I didn't really know it. And I've broken through those barriers and I've pursued success in my business in spite of it. But if it were not for those feelings of not thinking that I'm good enough or I'm capable, or all of those other feelings that come up when you deal with imposter syndrome, to be honest with you, I probably could have been a lot further and gotten a whole lot more accomplished in my business over the years than I have at this time. But that's not to say that I am ungrateful for where I am, because I am grateful that I have experienced the things that I have experienced and gone through the things that I have gone through, because I've gone through them and I go through things. I did a video talking about that before, about how you should view going through when you're going through things in your life, because we all will. But I digress. I wanted to talk about something in regards to my business life and dealing with imposter syndrome. Okay, I started my business that I currently own and operate, one of the businesses that I own and operate, that I'm also a service provider in. Like I said, I'm a licensed esthetician. In my business, we specialize in skincare, brow services, and eyelash services. Love what I do, and I have physically with my own hands, God bless, that I don't have arthritis or any other issues like that. Thousands of women alone, just myself. That's not to count the various employees that I've had over the years and currently still do in multiple business locations. I have physically served with my own hands thousands of women. And when I say that myself, sometimes it's like, I really did. It's crazy to say that, but I did. And when you are working one-on-one with clients and they get used to you and you're providing their services and they enjoy what you do, they love what you do. I'm blessed to do what I do, and I'm grateful for the clients that are happy with my services and continue to come. And many are still coming from many years ago and still coming. And I'm really grateful for their loyalty and for their appreciation and for their trust and all of those things. But I'm only one person, and with the things that I've been experiencing in my life over the past several years, prior to COVID, I wasn't working hands-on with clients as much as I was, because I want to say in late 2018, I made the decision that I was going to pare down to working with clients 1 day per week. And I scaled that down. And so a lot of clients were fine with it. I was able to work it out with them, where I was seeing them throughout the month when I was able to see them on that 1 day per week that I was seeing clients. And then those who were not able to make it work, the clients would see other service providers in the business, or honestly, some of them may have just stopped coming. And it is what it is. It happens. But I had to do what I had to do, because at that time I had 4 business locations. One was outside of the city, one was outside of the state. And even though I wasn't working physically in those locations with clients, it was going to require more of me working on the business and not so much working in the business. And I'm honestly glad those days are over, because I just have 2 locations now. I'm grateful for it. And I don't see any of those business paring downs or the pivots that I have decided to make, chose to make, or maybe even had to make because of COVID and, you know, the pandemic and things like that. I had to do what I had to do, and I didn't get my emotions involved in it. I just did what I had to do. Well, I have worked more in the business, I want to say in late 2019, I started picking up a few more days to see clients in the business after I had closed down my location in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then I had a team member who was working in one of my other locations that was like the busiest person there, and she had moved here from Utah, and her husband got a job back home in Utah, so they were going to be moving back. So in February, the end of February 2020, she was no longer going to be working with us. So I didn't have anyone readily available to take on those clients. So I stepped up. And then in mid-March 2020, the pandemic hit. So it was like, wow. Anyway, when things were allowed to come back open, I started working more in the business in 2 locations. And I closed a 3rd location that I had down in May of 2020. So working more hands-on in the business, it was something I was grateful to be able to do, because it really did help to save my business. I am at this point now in late 2022. We'll be going into a new year in a couple of months now. I had to make a decision after learning some things in my own personal family with my mom and dad, dealing with my husband who was dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, which is very, very intense in my household, amongst other things that I'm working on for business, because I have other businesses that I'm working on, other launches that I am needing to focus on, and I just don't have the time to be everywhere and do everything. I had to make the decision that I had to draw back from working hands-on in the business. And so I had a discussion with my director of operations, and I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. I have to be realistic and say that some things have to change. And she said, Elizabeth, this is your company. You can do whatever you want to do. It's not a problem. We can make this work. Of course, there may be some pushback from some of the clients, but we will make it work. I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make a list of the clientele that are my VIP clients, another list of clients that I don't mind continuing to see myself, but they just have to come in when I'm available. And if the time isn't available that they need or want, because it really is all about them, then they're going to have to see someone else that works in the business. And ultimately, that's why I have a team. It's not just me. I cannot see everyone, and no business that is run solo that serves people individually can serve everyone. You just can't do it. The only way you can grow is if you bring other people on the team and in your business to work with you. But that imposter syndrome started to kick up, and a fear started to come up within me to make me feel as if I wasn't worthy to transition clients to see someone else in the business. Thoughts started coming up about, well, who do you think you are? You're not better than any of the people that are working here. Why can't you see these people and work longer, harder hours? And just other thoughts that started coming up to make me feel that I wasn't worthy of being the type of business owner similar to like the law firms. If you are anywhere where you see billboards and commercials for attorneys, and that attorney is the face of the company, for like example, the Mark Williams law firm, and he may do all of the commercials and his face is on all of the billboards, but in that fine print, it will say services provided by licensed attorneys of the Mark Williams law firm, not specifically with attorney Mark Williams. And I said, after 14 years, I deserve to have that, But the imposter syndrome that was speaking up and shouting very loud to really started to make me feel inferior and unworthy, because that's what imposter syndrome will do. It'll make you feel like you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're not capable, you're not ready, you are not like others, and just a lot of different thoughts that will come up. And those thoughts started rising up, and I really had to check myself. I had to check in with a friend and speak with her, get a reminder, nudge and a reminder from my director of operations to let me know that it is going to be okay. But I started saying, well, this person probably is going to be upset, and and I like her, and it's not personal. And I was like giving my director of operations this long spiel that she should share with these guests so that they would hopefully understand. And I challenged myself last week to speak to a few of the clients myself, to just let them know face to face that there were going to be some shifts in my schedule. So there may be times that I wouldn't be able to see them myself. It's nothing personal. It's just business. I have to be able to work more on the business. I'm still going to be working here. You may still see me. You may not see me when you come in. But anyone who's working in the business, whether it's this location or the other location, they're very capable and ready to see you because I've trained them to work just as I have. It's just that they haven't been here for over 14 years like I have. That's the difference. Because with me, I don't want anyone that comes to work in my business establishment to feel that I am above them and I'm better than them. Of course, I want respect and I deserve it, but I always tell my team members, I don't want you to feel intimidated to work with any of these clients that I have ever worked with, because I don't want you to feel like, oh, well, Elizabeth worked with this person, so I'm not going to be able to provide a great service like she did, or it's just not going to be comparable or good enough. I said, don't try to compare. We're not here to compete with each other. We are a team. And I always treat the people who work in my establishment like that. I never treat them like I'm better than them or I am above them. So I say all that to say, making that decision for me really wasn't easy, because with the imposter syndrome situation, it is a bitch. I'm not even going to lie to you. And I do believe that is something even, and don't call me crazy if you want to, I believe even Beyonce deals with it, because she has an alter ego that she calls Sasha Fierce. I'm also a Virgo like Beyonce, so I get it when it comes to those thoughts that come to your mind. So for her, she created this alter ego so that she can say, well, it's not really Beyonce that's doing this, it's Sasha Fierce. And yeah, even more so now when you hear her music, she'll say her name, you hear her Beyonce, or whatever. But even with that being said, with her performing, it's an alter ego that makes her feel more confident and comfortable with proceeding forward in spite of the imposter syndrome. Because I do believe that a lot of women primarily do deal with imposter syndrome more than men do. Not to say that males do not deal with it, because they do, but more women deal with it, and especially those who are of a minority ethnicity tend to deal with it even more because of just all of the things that we, tend to encounter and deal with in life. So I just wanted to share this story because I believe that, like myself, many of you have had this issue with the imposter syndrome, and you've had to make decisions in your life, whether it's in your personal life, your business life, where you had to make the decision that I have to make some changes, I have to make some pivots, I have to do some things differently, but this person may say this, or this may happen, or what if this happens, or whatever. Imposter syndrome is rooted in the spirit of fear, and you cannot allow fear to overtake you. Fear is present almost all of the time, but you really have to just make the decision to renounce the fear and operate in faith. And for me, I'm speaking for myself, faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. And so when I say that, for me, the promises that God made in his word to hear myself speak these things or to hear someone else speaking these things and teaching these things, it helps to build my faith. So I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not here to say that you have to do the same thing, but I would suggest it. It works for me, and it has really helped to get me this far in my life with all of the situations that I go through and that I am going through in my personal life and even in my business. It really just helps me to continue to move forward in spite of those things and overcome the fear and to operate in faith. But the imposter syndrome is real. It can be a bugger. It has prevented me on a number of occasions from pursuing some things that I believe would have been victorious for me and it would have been successful for me, but I just decided to hold back. But now, the stage of my life where I am in, I'm working on some things. I'm not going to speak some things out loud yet until these things have happened and occurred, but I'm operating in these things now because it's like there's no time like the present. And I do believe that greater things are on the way for me. But in order for those things to manifest and transpire, I have to keep going through and I have to continue to move forward to get there. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And so until the next time, I am Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, sharing the Bible. That's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, I hope and pray you all have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.